Hello friends, welcome to Dinesh Miglani Tutorials. This is a session of grammar where we are going to learn some golden rules of grammar. Golden rules of grammar. These rules are oftenly asked in exams, and these are quite very important rules which are always used, and people get often confused in this. They are not very much clear about it, so we'll take them one by one. We'll try to make sessions on these important rules which are called golden rules. Let us see them one by one. The first one, for example, the board decide who will be the next CEO and their decision is irrevocable. Now if you see in this sentence, what is the subject here? Our subject is the board. Now if I ask you what is a board is a collection or a group of some members. So here we are talking about the whole collection. So our subject is a collective noun. Our subject is a collection of something. Remember one thing, whenever you say that it is a collection, a word is a collection, it is always considered to be singular. Whenever you consider a body or a thing is considered to be collective, it is always a single one. So what it should be, we have used verb. What verb we are using for the board? Decide. So this should be decides. Why? Because we are considering that board is a collective noun. Board is actually a collective noun. It is a single word, and single subject carries verb in single form also. So what in single form? First thing we need to remember, verb carry S in single form, and in plural form it is used without S. I'll repeat again. One thing we need to remember, whenever our subject is single, the verb is also single, and verb carries S in singular form, like decides. And when the verb is plural, we remove S after it. So it will be decide if it is in plural form. So the board decides, this is our verb, who will be the next CEO, and their decision is irrevocable. Now this pronoun there is used for board, which is again a single body. It is a collective body. So one body, it is a single verb, the pronoun should also be single. What it should be? Now one thing more to remember here, that when you represent a collection, it never shows a gender. Collective noun is always used in neutral gender. It is never considered to be feminine or masculine. It is always neutral. So always use pronoun it. What it should be? The board decides who will be the next CEO, and its decision is irrevocable, because we are considering board as a collective noun. Board is a collective noun. So it is considered to be a single subject, and single subject carries verb in single form and pronoun also in single form. I hope it is clear. See one more example. The team were prepared for the next match. Now again we have our subject team, which is a single body, which is a single, you can say it is a singular noun. So what it should be, the verb should also be single here. What we have to make correction here is, the team was prepared for the next match. Remember, collection represents to a singular thing, so it should always be used with a single verb and a single pronoun. I'll pen it down. Collection or collective noun carries verb and pronoun in singular form. That means you have to use verb in always a single form and pronoun also in a single form. I hope this much is clear. Now let us look at one more example. The staff was divided in its opinion. Now again we have our subject as a collective noun. Staff is a collection of members. Now in this sentence what we are doing, this collective noun is not considered to be a single body. We have divided this collection. Now it has been divided in two groups. For example, here it was a whole collection. We are talking about the whole team. The whole team was prepared for the next match. In this one, we are saying that our collective noun is divided. So now it is no more a single body. It is two different bodies, or it is a you can say it has been divided to two groups. Now what we need to do, the verb and the pronoun used for the collection will be in plural form. The staff were divided in their opinion. I hope you get it. What happened when you divide a collection or a collective noun? Always consider that it is plural now and use plural form of verb and plural form of pronoun. What happens when you have a collective noun? It is a single body, single verb, single pronoun. When the collection is divided, it is no more one body, it will be plural. So use plural verb and plural pronoun. I'll give you one example more. The fleet was on its way later on it was splitted in two groups. Now, we have two parts here. First part, the fleet was on its way. Till here, it is a single body. In the second half, later on, it was split in two groups. Now, the division starts from where? Be very, think very properly, and then you decide. The division is starting after this part, in the second half, not in the first half. So you have to be careful. The plural form should be used only in the second half, not for the first one, because in the first one, there is no division there. Getting? So the fleet was on its way. Till here it is correct. But now the division applies. Later on, it was split into two groups. Later on, they were. Fleet is a collection of ships, S-H-I-P-S. It is a collection of ships. So now we are talking about the division. They were split in two groups. Getting that? So you have to be very careful where the division is applied. It is possible that like in this way. Here no division is applied. It is one group. Use single verb, single pronoun. But when it is divided, in that portion only you have to apply the plural form, not in the whole sentence. So we have to be careful for it like this. Next one. The youth knows how to handle fame. Suppose this is the sentence. The youth knows how to handle fame. Now in this sentence, we have our subject youth. Now youth basically is an abstract noun. Abstract noun. Now what actually abstract noun is, for this you should go to my earlier session. I have explained each and every type of noun there. You read that, you look at that first, and then you come to this session. It will be pretty much clear. For just an example, I'll tell you, abstract noun is a physical state of mind. It is actually a state of mind, or you can say it is a state of being something. So youth is a stage of mind, or it is a state of mind. So it is considered as an abstract noun. But in this sentence, we are talking that youth is representing the whole young generation. So be careful here. Let us see. When an abstract noun is used as a collective noun, what we have done here, youth is an abstract noun, but here we are using it as a collective noun to represent the whole young generation. So in this sentence, it is rather considered as a collective noun. Now what happens? The verb should be used in plural form. Use verb in plural form. So what correction we should make here? The youth know how to handle fame. Knows is single form, know how to handle fame. Let us see one more example. The youth are building blocks of its nation. Now if we say the youth, again it is a collective noun as a representing here. The verb is plural. Okay, are building blocks of its nation. Whose nation we are talking about? The youth nation. So the pronoun should also agree to the verb. Na? So here it should be their nation. Be careful like this. Okay. So verb and pronoun both should be used in plural form when you use abstract as a collection. I hope it is clear. Next, forms of noun. Now this is something which is very important, like we often get confused. Forms of noun. There are number of nouns which change from single to plural by putting s or es. For example, if I say a cow, it becomes cows. We use s after it to make it plural. If I say knife, we use ves to make it plural. This is another form. But there are some nouns that don't change their form. They remain same in single also and plural also. For example, sheep. For example, deer. Or you can say salmon. Or aircraft. Or spacecraft. Offspring. Now how to use them? Let us see. He saw some swines were missing. Now in this example, we are using swines, plural form of swine. Why? Because we are using word some. Some represents to plural form. So he saw some swines were missing. Were is okay, but the noun swine doesn't change even if it is single or plural. It remains the same. So here what mistake we have done? We should not put S after it. It should be he saw some swine were missing. Don't forget, verb should be used according to the singular plural form. For example, if I say he saw a deer was wandering around. Now, article A represents to a single form. So, the verb is was. But we don't change the noun to single or plural form. It remains same. So, this is what we have to do. That some nouns, they don't change from single form to plural form. They remain same in both the ways. But they use different forms of verb. They use single verb or plural verb according to the sentence. Similar way, some nouns are always plural. Only plural. They can never be used in single form. They are always plural. In their form also. For example, the scissors are not at the table. First thing, scissors, because it is always in a pair. You see, it has two handles, you can say. So are, scissors and always are. Same way, his trousers are not matching to his shirt. Trousers, although he is wearing one single pant, still it will be considered plural because it has two legs. So such kind of things which exist in pairs, eyes, hands or ears, then you have number of things which come in pair should always be considered in plural form. Outskirts, and they always carry plural form of verb with them. These things are very important while you do subject verb agreement and pronoun and noun thing. Okay, all the three topics they are applied to. So you have to be careful that the verb agrees your subject is always plural. Put S always with it. Scissors, trousers, hands, outskirts, like this. Next one, units of counting. Units of counting or units of measuring. For example, dozen or kilogram, number of digits are there. Units of counting or measuring, whenever they come after a digit. When we use units after a digit, they are used in singular form. I repeat, जब भी आप किसी यूनिट ऑफ काउंटिंग को लाइक डजन हो गया या किलोग्राम हो गया, whenever you use them in after a digit या किसी नंबर के बाद आपने यूनिट को यूज किया, always remember you have to use the unit in single form. आपको यूनिट को सिंगल फॉर्म में ही यूज करना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, he consumes 2 dozens eggs weekly. Now we have unit dozens and we have a digit before the unit. So what the rule says, your unit should be used in single form, not in plural form. It should be he consumes 2 dozen eggs weekly. Any unit before after a digit using single. One more example, let us see. I bought 5 kilograms of potatoes. 5 kilograms. Kilogram is a unit and it is preceded by a digit. So what we have to do here, 5 kilogram or 5 kg potatoes. Sorry, off should not be there. 5 kg potatoes. Fine. So whenever your unit is preceded by a digit, don't use S form or the plural form for the unit. It should be in single form. Let us see one more example. 200 runs are not enough for Australian team. Suppose. Now I am using my unit in plural form because it is I am using this runs in plural form. It is not a unit. You see, 200 runs are not enough. This is correct. But if I say 200 runs target are not enough. Now what happens? Now 200 runs, a plural thing, is equal to a target, which is a single thing, no? Again I'll repeat. A plural thing when represents a single thing use single form. That means whenever a plural form or a plural thing is equal to a singular one, it will be considered single. So what correction we need here? 200 runs target is not enough. Now 200 runs are equal to a target. That is why we are saying is not enough. So be careful whenever you use a plural thing which is representing a singular one, use it in a single form. Let us see one more example. Runs is a huge target to follow. Now I am using is here because we are saying this 500 runs is a target. So it is equal to a single form, that is why it is considered to be single here. Fine. And if I say 500 runs are too much for a one-day match. Now it is not considered to be anything. It is not considered, or it is not equal to a single form. That is why here plural is correct. So we have to be careful in these things like this. When you use digits, when you use units, we have to be careful. Next. Now, when we talk about pronouns, we have three types of pronouns. Gender pronoun, which represents he or she, which represents gender. And we have a neutral pronoun, which represents it. Things which don't represent any gender, we use it with neutral pronoun. Now let us see. I am not going to explain the details of types of the noun, pronoun or adjective or anything. I have discussed it in earlier session. I am just going to take the rules which are important from these. We are going to pick up such rules which are oftenly asked and which are quite very important. See? Pronouns, for example, suppose. Now, before we do this rule, I need to tell you about personification. What is personification? Personification means to personify something, a non-living object. Non-living object when considered to be a living being. As a living being. Or this is called personification. When we represent a non-living object has a quality of a living being or has feelings or emotions. Such kind of a comparison is called personification. This you learn in literature and poetic forms actually. So now this rule is applied in grammar also. Let us see. Whenever a non-living object is personified, use gender pronoun for that object. It is quite very important one. A non-living object is personified. Whenever a non-living object is personified, always use gender pronoun for the object. Now in English, we don't use gender pronouns for non-living things. But when they are personified, we use gender pronouns, that is he, she, him, her, his, hers, like this for the non-living object. Let us see example. Nature has innumerable species in its womb. Now in this sentence, what non-living object we have? Nature. We consider it as object. It is a non-living thing. But here we have personified this non-living object. How we have personified? We are saying that nature has hidden it in its womb. Womb is a part of woman where she conceives her child. So this is a personification. This is a human characteristic which we are talking about for a non-living thing. So what it should be? It is representing a female characteristic, a human being characteristic. So it should be, nature has innumerable species in her womb. Be careful, the characteristic which are feminine or masculine. Feminine characteristic or masculine characteristic. Use the pronoun according to that characteristic. Suppose if I say, Death lays her hands on the one who has finished his time. Suppose. Now in this sentence, we are saying that death has hands, which is a personification. Death is a non-living object. We are personifying it by using the characteristic to put hands, which is a human characteristic. Now, death represents to strength or something which is very strong. Strength represents to masculine characteristic or masculine feature. So what pronoun should we use here? Death lays his hands on the one who has finished his time. Getting it? So, characteristic which represents beauty or mercy or motherhood, these kind of characteristics, they carry feminine or feminine pronoun, and which represents strength, violence or arrogance or fear. These kind of objects, they represent to masculine thing. So things which represent strength, violence, arrogance or such kind of thing, they are masculine one, and with these characteristics they are feminine one. We'll see one more example. Mother Earth loves its children. Or if I don't use mother, then also it is okay. Earth loves its children. Now, Earth here is considered as a mother of a child or a mother of children, no? So it is a characteristic of motherhood. It should represent a feminine characteristic. We should use female one. Earth loves her children. Getting? So the characteristic depends. Same sentence if I use, Earth rotates around the sun. Can you tell what is her speed? Now listen very carefully here. In this sentence, we are saying Earth loves her children. We have personified this non-living object with the feeling of motherhood. I'll say it in Hindi also. Earth को हमने यहाँ personify किया है by giving her a characteristic of motherhood. उसको हमने motherhood का characteristic दिया, which is a human being characteristic. This is why we have used pronoun her, because it is a personification. In this sentence, there is no personification here. You see, you are using Earth as an object, but there is no personification. So we don't need to use pronoun her for Earth. So what it should be? Tell what is its speed. Now this is very important. You have to use the characteristic wise pronoun only when it is personified, not when there is no personification. Otherwise though, अर्थ इज अ नॉन लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट. नॉन लिविंग ऑब्जेक्ट्स के लिए न्यूट्रल जेंडर ही यूज करते हैं. वी डोंट हैव टू यूज feminine or masculine gender for the non-living object otherwise. I hope it is clear. This is for the first session. We are going to take such important rules in other sessions also, and we'll continue this. So for this session, this much is okay. Let us meet you in the next session. Take care all of you. Bye bye.